Hey everybody, welcome to Testimony Time with Pastor Heather Boone. I'm Pastor Boone from Oaks of Righteousness. We are a church, a homeless shelter, food pantry, clothes closet, soon to be daycare. We're just a one-stop shop for community building. And what I always hear from people is, oh, Pastor Boone, you're so amazing. You do such wonderful work. But what I want people to know, it's not me. It's the people who I surround myself with. We call them Oaks Village and our village people, and they are absolutely amazing, and they make me look good. So what I want to do is I want to begin to spotlight the village people. I want them to tell their testimonies and their story and just share all of the wonderful things that they do at Oaks. It takes a village, and so I am excited and I'm honored because we have a village person with us today, yay! And so we have Miss Trish with us. And so, Trish, I just want you to tell our audience a little bit about yourself. How did you come to Oaks?
So my name's Trish Burgess. I found Oaks of Righteousness. I was in trouble with the law. Had to go to some AA meetings, found a convenient one at 9:30 every morning, Monday through Friday. So I started going to that. Do I want to look at the camera? Or do I?
Yeah, you look at the camera, look at me. It doesn't matter. But when you say I was in trouble with the law, I started feeling like the good old boys, like Dukes of Hazzard, Trish.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry. With the
I was in trouble with the law.
With or
Boss
without
Hog.
the Confederate flag?
We can keep some of this in. It doesn't matter to me. All right.
So I had gotten myself in some legal trouble due to drugs and alcohol. Had to go to AA meetings, so I found a convenient one at 9:30 Monday through Friday at this place called Oaks of Righteousness. Didn't know what it was, didn't even care, just get it done first thing in the morning and move forward. So as I started going to these meetings, people kept telling me to do community service at the Oaks, at the shelter. Didn't even know I was sitting in a homeless shelter. So they introduced me to Pastor Boone, and she is not at all what I expected.
What'd you expect?
I expected some shriveled up little old white man, and she is anything but. So as I was talking to her and explaining my situation, she couldn't have cared less what I was in trouble for. She just wanted to help me and let me get my hours, and I was helping them out too. So I did that for a little while, and I was going off to the left when I should have went to the right and got myself in a little more trouble. So
You like trouble.
I loved trouble. So ended up going into rehab per my probation officer. And it was there that I realized that I had to totally depend on God. And God had already done the footwork for when I got out of rehab. Mm-hmm. So my last few weeks in rehab, I had to make decisions on what I was going to do when I got out, where I was going to hang out when I got out. And I knew I had to get back down to this place called the Oaks. And that's exactly what I did. Went back down there, got a hold of Miss Becky, and helped her out sorting clothes. And then not long after I got out, about 3 months after I got out, this miracle on 2nd Street came to fruition, and we started moving everything over to this side of the tracks. And just what a blessing to be a part of that.
Well, I know, Trish, a lot of people don't know what the miracle is on 2nd Street, because our church used to be under one building. So we had our church, a homeless shelter, and our clothes closet, and we were in a very cramped space. But we ended up moving to another building, a larger building, and kind of expanding our ministry. So God is just amazing. And we'll get into the miracle on 2nd Street a little later on a different episode. But what I want to talk about, Trish, is you were volunteering at Oaks, and you were selling plasma. When I heard that, I'm like, what? This woman is selling plasma to come in so she doesn't have to work, so she can volunteer. What is wrong with this woman?
Well, yeah, I have issues, but I wanted to be able to, with the guidance of the people down here at Oaks that prayed with me, prayed for me, encouraged me. I knew I needed to be around these people, but I still needed to be bringing money in somewhat to help out with household bills. So I said, well, let me go ahead and sell my plasma. Did that a couple days a week.
And that hurt.
You know, and the next thing I know, Pastor came up to me and offered me a job at the shelter as a monitor, and that is not where I wanted to go.
And you were just getting off probation. I mean, it was crazy.
I was still on probation.
You were still on probation.
Mm-hmm.
You were near your end of your probation. But the amazing thing to me was, with you having these troubles, and you know, you are not the typical person who looked like, you know, you would have been somebody who had struggled with addiction, had got in trouble with the law, as you said. You didn't look like that typical person. And so when I saw you working with people and calling them out on their crap, because sometimes we all need to be called out on our crap. Because we get a lot of people who struggle with addiction who, oh, I'm clean, oh, I'm okay. And so what I loved about you was your street, you're edgy, and that you were like, no, I have walked this before. I played this game before. You can't fool me. And so I love that part. And I'm like, I want you to work in this ministry. And I saw your heart and your compassion. And so now you've been with Oaks for how long?
It's been, with my volunteer time, about going on 4 years.
4 years.
In October.
And you've been clean, and you've been doing amazing.
Yep. But it takes, I can never forget where I came from. Because as soon as I forget where I came from, then I'm in trouble.
And how long had you struggled with addiction?
Oh, well, okay, so we'll say I'm 50 right now.
Good for 50.
My whole, 50. But my whole adult life with alcoholism, it goes back to probably at the age of 12, 13, when I would just drink here and there, steal my dad's alcohol, and I never drank just to take a couple sips. It was always to get drunk. So alcohol, my whole adult life. The drugs came in probably in my late 30s, I would say, and it was prescription pills, which are probably the most dangerous because it's socially acceptable, it's a prescription, but I didn't take those as prescribed. I took those just like I took my alcohol. So.
And what's so amazing to me is you got clean, and you know, you started coming here, you went to rehab, you started coming here volunteering, and then you started coming to church. Yes. And you brought your husband with you. And that's just been amazing, because not only do you work for the ministry after 4 years, been here 4 years, your husband also end up quitting his full-time job to work for the ministry too, and has been amazing. And so just seeing you all as just an amazing team.
Yes, and for the first time, because in my addiction, I lost my marriage in every way other than the legal aspect of it. We were still legally married, but it was more just like a business arrangement. So God used the trouble that I had gotten myself into, and He allowed us to depend on Him and then turn it around.
And your husband had casually drank, and you called him, and what did you tell him? Because you told me.
Yep, I had to tell Rob. So the last couple of weeks when I was in rehab and I was planning in my head what I was going to do when I got out, the one thing I had to tell Rob was, if you want to keep drinking, go ahead. But I can't come home to that. I can't go back to the same place where I was the sickest. And he would drink every night while I was in rehab, and I could tell when I would call him, but he hasn't drank since I got out. So
and see, it's so crazy because I don't know Rob to be that person. I just know him as this man of God, just so wonderful. And so I'm so thankful. And you guys have just such an amazing testimony. And you know, there's some funny stories we won't get into of you doing some crazy stuff. But God has brought you such a long way.
Yes, and he's still, at this point in our life and our marriage, we choose to look at the Bible, and the things that he promises us is he's always going to give us clothes. He's always going to have a roof over our head, and we're always going to have food to eat. That, and how we perceive that, that's on us. So I had to back my husband when he made that decision to quit his job, because he had backed me in every decision I've made, even when I was a hot mess. He still stood by me. So how dare me? I couldn't dare not back him. And if it was gonna call for us, say, losing our home, eating hot dogs every night, whatever it is, we knew we had to work for the Lord, because he had run from the Lord once before, run from his calling. So God got us where he wanted us. We all just took the scenic route.
Amen.
If that makes
Children of Israel, it was a 40-day journey, but it took them 40 years.
Correct.
And so some people go the straight way, and some people have to reroute and calculate over and over and over again. Well, Trish, did you ever see yourself in full-time ministry?
Absolutely not. If somebody would have told me 5 years ago this is where I was going to be, I'd have called them a liar. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, you know what? God has a plan, and he had a plan, and he knew, and he saw something inside of you that even you didn't see. And so I thank God for you. I thank God that you are part of my village. I thank God for you and your husband, and you are amazing. And I know that you have saved many lives. I know that you have been a blessing to many individuals in this shelter and in this ministry. I know that you have just mentored and given back so much. And so I am just so grateful for you. Thank you for making me and Oaks look good.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself.
All right. Well, again, thank you for joining Testimony Time with Pastor Boone. Again, I thank God for my special guest today, Miss Trish, and she's amazing, and we have more amazing people who will be coming on Testimony Time. So we love you. We'll see you soon, and until we come together again, stay blessed, stay positive, stay upbeat. In Jesus' name, amen.